Hello and welcome to this special bumper episode of Music Recommendations with me, Jack from Leeds Music Guidance. Now today's episode we have an incredible 14 unsigned independent artists featuring on the show, showcasing their brand new material. It's so big I'm having to split the show into two, so there'll be a part one today and there'll be a part one tomorrow. So let's get on with this special show. So first up we have awesome American band Diga. Now you might have seen their name appear at the introduction of my show every episode. They came up with the theme tune to my show, so I can't thank them enough for that. They also appeared on episode 2 of Music Recommendations, where they're talking about their brand new EP and their single Ghosts of the Deep. So today I'm going to show the new video of their single, and we have June from Diga to introduce the video to you. So take it away, June.
I'm June from the band Diga, and you are watching Tilly's Music Guidance. Firstly, a huge thank you to Jack Tilly. You've been incredibly supportive of our endeavors. With Ghosts of the Deep, the premise was there, the story of an astronaut getting lost in space. So it lends itself to visuals pretty easily. Given that this is our first video, we're actually very proud of it and we hope you enjoy it. We hope it's the first of many more to come. 2021 will be a big year for us. We have a lot of music coming. If you like what you hear, check us out on social media at Digamusic. We can be found on most major platforms, Spotify, Apple iTunes, YouTube, etc., etc. So we hope you enjoy. Have a happy and safe holiday. Please protect each other and yourselves, and do what you need to keep each other safe.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, this is Jonah from the Foxholes, and you're watching Tilly's music guidance on YouTube. And hoping you like our latest album, Foxholes. Bye.
Thank you, Jonah from the Foxholes. Now, today's recommendation is going to be their single Cruzada. This track is absolutely brilliant. It's going to be a real rock anthem. The song starts off with a mysterious psychedelic sounds that takes us on a journey throughout time. And then, as soon as the intro stops, it turns into a real rock anthem banger. Sung completely in Spanish, but don't let that put you off. There are some excellent guitar riffs in there, and the song is a real headliner, so check it out. So our next track that I'm recommending today is a group from Bristol in the UK called Shoun Shoun. And here to tell you more about the song is Annette from the band.
I'm Annette Berlin, singer and guitarist in the band Shoun Shoun. We are based in Bristol, in England. Our single Stuck is about what condition your condition is in. It's being stuck with yourself for way too long. Enjoy.
So when I heard this track the first time, I automatically thought of Sonic Youth. It has that aggression, it has that anger that Sonic Youth produces, and the vocals was very, very much like Kim Deal from the band.
What about me? I ask you. What about
An awesome story of how it was actually made. It was recorded in the garage, mixed in the attic, and the neighbour next door recorded the bass for the song. A classic lockdown song. How awesome is that? The heavy bass ripping through the song, an echoey, distorted guitar sounds, and a volatile range of emotion really soothed the attitude of this song. So check it out. Up next we have Jack Hinks with his song Jigsaw. Jack Hinks is a Edinburgh-based singer-songwriter and producer. And here to tell you a bit more about his music is Jack himself.
Hello, my name is Jack Hinks, and I recently just released a single called Jigsaw, which for me is about, I guess, acceptance and moving on with loss. I want to give a huge thank you to Tilly's Music Guidance for featuring it, and thank you for listening.
Now the track is a really cool, impressive tune. There's some great guitar work that's accompanied by a really bouncy bass, and the guitar work is absolutely impressive throughout the song. Jack sings smoothly and passionately throughout the song. Here's a sample of the song now.
She's not the same. There's nothing wrong with making change. Time explains. Some people stay the same, but I'm not the man that you once knew. Something tells me that you've changed too. Folding my Now better bones hide my heart.
Hi everyone, we're the Superlatives, Charlie, Tom and Jamie. Our new single Sonda is available on all music platforms at the moment, along with a lot of other tunes we've done before. We're hoping to release our first 7-inch single next year, so go check it out. Thanks for having us on the show, Jack. It's much appreciated. Merry Christmas, everybody.
So up next we have a really cool 3-piece band from Leeds, the Superlatives. The song has a really cool late 90s sound to it, especially of the end of Britpop, the start of the late 90s revival of indie music. The main sound of the song has layers and layers of guitars that swirl around you and leap euphorically in a spiritualized manner. This track is absolutely awesome. Make sure you check the rest of their music out because they are absolutely brilliant. Their sound is absolutely awesome. So check them out. Now, our next artist that we have is a musician called Hypochondriac, and the song is called How I Stay Sane. Now, this track is mysterious, dark and haunting. Here's Hypo to tell you a bit more about the song.
Yo, this is Hypochondriac, and I'm just here to talk about a song I wrote called How I Stay Sane. And I guess when I started that song, I knew I wanted it to be pretty dark, kind of synth heavy, and I guess that was just the result. And for the lyrics, I knew it was gonna be pretty dark. Or I knew they sound kind of dark, but I still like to think of it as something pretty positive in the way they say, like, you know, make the most out of life and stuff. You know, just said in a more cynical and existential way, I guess. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Later.
That follows all the vocals around. It has a really haunting synth sound in the background of the song, which really adds to the uneasy atmosphere of the tune. We have an exclusive interview with a band called Halloween Jack. Now, Halloween Jack are a London-based indie group specialising in classic genre-hopping rock and roll. To find out a bit more about the band, I recently sat down with them to get to know them a bit better. And as a special bonus, we're being treated to the release of their brand new single and video as well. So take it away, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm Ian.
And hello, I'm Adam.
Let's get down to the questions. How would you describe your music to people who've never heard your sound before?
We've gone from being an active 5-piece band, really creating music for the small indie and rock venues of London, to a 2-piece, purely studio-based unit. And so our style has changed somewhat. The early EPs, the first album, sits squarely on the indie, synthy rock shelf, I think. The second album was collated really just by the two of us having fun and realising that we had an album's worth of material almost by mistake. So with no active live band to play with, it's a little more experimental, and the songs and sounds of those studio tracks from then on through to these current EPs have been more pop-based and dare I say more crafted towards being a more relaxing listening experience, perhaps, rather than those solely for a tight, loud band in a sweaty club. Since that doesn't really answer the question, over to Adam.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, I always struggle when people ask, to describe your music, because I think it's quite easy to sound a little bit up oneself when you're describing your own music. But I mean, as Ian alluded to, when we were like a live band, we very much wore sort of like our Stonesy, Kasabian, Roxy music style influences on our chest, and you can see that. But with the new sounds, I think there's some different elements that have come in. It's definitely changed to a slightly more poppier sound, I think. Definitely more crafted, very much sort of like that classic 60s and 70s pop rock. Certainly in terms of the studio production, I think that's something we've really looked to do, particularly with these EPs as well. Sort of bringing really in some of those elements and adding some new things, but using more modern references, but perhaps kind of placing them in that earlier environment as well. So again, don't know if that completely answers it, but have a listen and see what you think.
Who are you influenced by?
I think one of our biggest strengths is that our frame of reference is pretty broad, and we love bringing in sounds and particularly drum patterns that emulate some of those recordings that we love, and they can be and frequently are from the artists and eras that Adam mentioned just there, but also I think from the kind of terrific dance and baggy music that was coming out in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And I'm particularly happy that we're becoming a little more daring with our vocals, both melodically and in backing vocals, layering them up and really looking for nice harmonies. And I think through those our influences shined through pretty strongly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I agree with you, Ian. I mean, I think also it depends on what we're listening to at the time as well, because speaking for myself, when I'm writing, I'm often quite heavily influenced if I'm spending a lot of time listening to a particular artist. So, at the moment I'm listening to a lot of Zappa for, I don't know, I just suddenly got into a bit of Zappa. But, if the next EP gets really weird, then you might see that influence in there. But, I think the same could probably be said for yourself as well.
What are your plans for the future?
Plans for the future? Well, definitely live shows. I mean, we haven't played live for a very long time, but things are a little bit difficult at the moment for obvious reasons. So at the moment, we just really want to continue pushing out new material. We have done albums in the past, but this time, as Ian mentioned earlier, we decided to do EPs, and the reason why we did that is that we kind of think it reflects a little bit more like the practices of like the casual listener. People aren't consuming albums in the way that they used to do. With streaming stuff, people are playlisting items or just, listening things on the commute or something like that. Not that many people are commuting at the moment, but whilst I am quite old-fashioned myself, I love listening to an album and listening to the concept and the album as a piece of art. As I said, the casual listener isn't doing that so much now. So I think what we'll do is having like these little EPs that sort of like all wrapped up and, not necessarily themed, but sort of like fit together quite well. I think that's what we'll do more of, and certainly what we're going to be doing over the next year for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not prepared to accept that the album is an obsolete format. But if the compromise is that we can record and release more music more frequently in shorter bursts, then that's a pretty good compromise, I think. Playing live again is definitely something I want to do. Miss it very much. And so much has happened in the lives of those who played in the band and those who would have come to see us regularly in the time since we last played live, that I think we have to look at it as a great opportunity to come to it fresh. It will drive us to find a new audience and no doubt at new venues too. Following what we said about albums and people's listening habits, we decided that whilst we had an album's worth of content, we would split the songs up, and we're in a nice position to break the tracks up and plan for 3 quick successive releases, like we were just saying. So it seemed pretty natural to call them Left, Right and Centre. And they've been released at the start of October, November and December, respectively. And they're all reasonably self-contained little collections, and I think the format has worked for these songs. So we are very pleased now to complete the trilogy to round off this year with Centre.
Yeah, and we'd like to introduce one of the tracks from it. Actually, we've done a little video for it, I hope you really enjoy it. It's a very soulful song. It's a little bit different to some of our previous stuff. I mean, we talked about how, as a live band, we're a sweaty, out and out rock and roll band. This is very much different. It's very much in sort of like the Young Americans era, Bowie vibe. But it's a really positive song at its heart. It's about where you think things might be coming to an end or something. It's like, no, you can go that extra step. Things aren't great in the world at the moment, but things can get better. We got we hopefully got this vaccine come in, and the Euros are next year, and with Foden and Grealish in midfield, you never know, we might even win it. Lockdown might be driving me crazy, but I'm feeling hopeful about that. So, if you've stopped laughing at my ridiculous optimism there, perhaps you can enjoy the track. And I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
When it all comes to pass, and last orders are called, as the curtain falls and the credits roll. All said and done, the last breath is drawn, and the sun starts to set as the audience rolls. One more step, or one more time. This end is my beginning. One more step, or one more line in life's pages that I'm writing. At journey's end, the flame flickers out. A whistle blown, when your last hand's been thrown. One more step, one more time. This end is my beginning. One more step, one more line in life's pages that I'm writing. One more step, one more time. This end is my beginning. One more step, one more line in life's pages that I'm writing. One more step, one more time. This ending is my beginning. One more step, one more line in life's pages that I'm writing. One more step, one more time. This ending is my beginning. One more step,
So that's the end of part 1 of the show. Thank you to all the musicians who took part today, and make sure you tune in tomorrow for part 2 of our continuing of this special bumper episode. Take care, see you later.